What's up? Welcome back. It's Untitled Wrestling Show.
Untitled Wrestling Show. That's the new one.
Payback 2017 edition. Thor and Brian, Basement Boy Banner. What we normally call wrestling in the basement, but I've been contemplating changing the name. So we're gonna take a little poll. Probably put it up on the Facebook page, maybe the Twitter page. Put out a couple new names. If you have any suggestions for names, leave them in the comment section on anything, Facebook, wherever. Just comment somewhere. So yeah, we're looking for a new name. I'm thinking we talked about WWE banter. We talked about PW banter. We talked about wrestling banter. And there are a few others. But let us know what you guys think, or if you have any new suggestions.
Or if you want us to keep
or
the original.
We just keep wrestling in the basement. It's just really long. It's a really long title. Whatever. So, Untitled Wrestling Show, Payback 2017 edition, coming at you. Pre-show, we got Enzo and Cass versus the Club. He wasn't here for it. It was fine. Enzo and Cass won, I guess, which makes sense.
Guess.
Well, no, it makes sense if they're going to. So, with what happened later in the night, it makes sense. At the time, I was like, I don't understand this. Mm-hmm. But with what well, no, actually, I still don't understand it.
Why?
No, I still don't understand it.
What happened?
Because, well, we'll get to that later. Finn Balor was on the Miz TV. He said he wants his title back from Brock Lesnar. He wants his title. He wants the belt. And then he beat up the Miz. So it was all thumbs up at this point. Then we got to the main show. We started off with KO Jericho. I think again. Feels like they've done that before.
I'm sure it's possible.
Mania didn't kick off with KO Jericho, did it?
I don't think so. I thought the Cruiserweights were one of the really early
No, but that was like pre-show. That was like pre-show. But whatever. We got KO and Jericho, which me and Marty were watching, and then he came stumbling through the door.
Stumbling? Like I came in like I'm some sort of angry drunk. Like, what are you guys watching?
Yep.
You doing okay over here?
No, I was looking at what was the first match, and it wasn't. It was Shane O'Mac versus AJ Styles. KO Jericho was second on the Mania card. I had to look at it. But I really enjoyed this match. I'm going to have to give it my match of the night because I think the other match of the night candidate, I fell asleep through part of it. So I can't give that match of the night, being as I didn't see the entirety of that match. But yeah, so he got here about halfway through the match or so?
No, you guys said it had just started.
Okay, right in the beginning. Whatever. It was a good match, really good match. Jericho wins. I was confused as anybody. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but now Jericho goes to SmackDown. Now apparently KO stays on SmackDown, but with the Fozzy stuff coming, he's got to drop the belt. I almost think on Tuesday. I might say on Tuesday on SmackDown he drops the belt to KO.
It's possible, but I mean,
or somebody else.
He totally deserves that W. But
wait a minute, who's the number one contender right now? AJ Styles. We've had AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know either. Interesting. Head scratcher. So then we got, speaking of the Cruiserweights, we got Double A. Austin Aries versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Shenanigans. Clearly. This one couldn't end it any other way. Neville knew he was going to lose, so in desperation, with the champion's advantage, he grabbed the ref and disqualified himself. It was a simple ending. I actually liked it because it was so simple. It's like they don't do that sort of stuff anymore. They overthink themselves. They're like,
I'm Bray Wyatting right now. Coughing.
You gonna die? One can hope. But they overthink themselves sometimes.
And I'm the mean one.
Oh, and yes, this mustache is very nice. Thank you for noticing.
Dirty.
It is. Mustache rides. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so Austin Aries versus Neville, good match. Shenanigan ending. But we're cool with it. It keeps the feud going, which makes sense because it didn't end clean. You got the rubber match. You get the final showdown. Austin Aries should win that.
You think so?
I think, yeah. Well, it depends on what they're going to do next.
Right.
Depends on if they're going to push whoever they're going to push after Aries. It just depends on what their plan is, I guess. Like, whatever.
Right.
So then we had Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Hardy Boys. Solid match. Hardys retain. Right call, I think, for the time being. But then, post-match, Bryan calls it. Heel turn. Sheamus and Cesaro went heel on us. All the handshaking we knew was leading to something.
It was just too fishy looking.
It was blatant. So Bryan calls this one. Heel turn from Sheamus and Cesaro. I didn't mind it. I didn't, I was fine with it. It made sense.
It was obvious it was coming.
But now we got the club as a heel team, them as a heel team. What other teams are on Raw?
I don't even know. Those are the only
Enzo, Cass,
right.
Hardy Boys. We're talking Fate, Golden Truth.
Yeah, that's not a real.
That's not a real thing. Heath Slater and Rhino. I guess they kind of had to turn them heel. They needed another heel team.
Real bad.
Because I'm not thinking of any other heel teams.
Unless
that are coming to
we're
mind.
just totally missing somebody because we're a bunch of dummies.
That's possible. It is possible. With how much we play wrestling games on our phone and watch wrestling, that's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. So then what do we have after that? Ooh, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. And the new WWE Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. Love this match. Loved everything about this match. This was a phenomenal match. You know what? Fuck KO Jericho. This is my match of the night.
Loser.
I changed my mind on the fly. Match of the night, the women's title match. It was a really good match.
It was a solid match.
It was a really good match. It doesn't hurt that Alexa Bliss is Alexa Bliss.
There was a lot of. I'll be honest. This is one of the better Raw pay-per-views we've seen. Since the brand.
You know what? You know what's funny? This one was beginning good, ending. I think. Well, no. You know what? I love the ending.
Yeah, the ending was fucking amazing. Yeah, dude.
Especially once we get into Raw talk. Right. All right, let's get there.
This pay-per-view was amazing.
Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Alexa Bliss wins. I love the match. We love the match. Bray Wyatt versus Orton. House of Horrors Part 1. Yes, you heard right. Part fucking 1. It took place in a house covered in black lights. There was dolls hanging from fish wire.
I know exactly what you're going to say, so I'm going to just interrupt you right now.
I hated it.
I think the match was awesome. It was well done. It wasn't stupid as far as the setup. Stupid. It was very showy. And if you were looking for a purely wrestling sort of match, yes, you're not going to like it. But as far as a merge between a horror movie and a wrestling match,
and
I don't think you could
a reality ghost TV show or something.
It felt like a not so great horror movie. But at the same time, that's all horror movies.
No.
I thought it was a very solid. And they even fixed it for anyone who was like, "Oh, that's bullshit." I didn't, it was 2 parts. So if you didn't like that first part, they gave you an actual somewhat wrestling match.
And the first part ends with Bray Wyatt dumping a refrigerator on top of Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. So, woo. But then we got Samoa Joe versus Rollins. This was the match I may or may not have fallen asleep for part of.
Unbelievable, guys.
Seth Rollins won. I heard his music. I know I heard his music, and I heard him say something.
Oh my God, he has no idea. He's just grasping at straws. This was a good match too, dude.
And no, I did see the good majority of it. It was a really good match. But what about the finish? Because you said there was something weird about the finish. So talk on the finish.
So it was Rollins rolled Samoa Joe up. Okay, so he put just a sleeper hold in. He didn't fully connect the Cohina
clutch,
something like that.
Cohiba clutch. I don't know.
And then. So it was just a sleeper, but then he rolled him into a pin, and then he just let it go to break the pin, right?
Right.
Well, then he actually locks in the clutch.
The Copacabana clutch.
Whatever.
Yep.
And then he rolls him again, and Joe's shoulder is up way more than it should need to be.
When he had him in the Coca-Cola clutch?
While he was rolled him over, and the ref still counted at 1, 2, 3, and they both kind of... It looks like it took him a second, what's going on? Pretend you're happy, woo! And then Joe's just instantly...
It's like a botch ending? It was like a botch ending?
It looked like it was a fuck up.
I mean, I saw it, so I kind of feel the same way. I wasn't sleeping. That didn't happen. But So
I mean, they both played. I mean, they're great performers, so neither of them are going to give it away. Like if it wasn't
and
F-up.
Rollins takes the first one. I think this feud can keep going, especially if it was like a little bit wonky.
Right, especially if it was like he kicks out and then he just knocks him. Yeah, because he didn't do his new finisher.
Right,
that's what makes me.
And there was no. Yeah, you're right. There was no finishers.
Then we got kind of shenanigans.
Then we got Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, House of Horrors match part 2. It was garbage too. No, I mean, it was fine, I guess. Then Jinder Mahal ran in. The Bollywood boys showed up. It was complete shenanigans. Bray wins, but who gives a fuck at that point? Like, at least Bray got the win.
It was too dirty for my liking as far as, like...
Yeah. Have you ever said that in your life?
Yes. It was too dirty in that, like... He had to have people help him instead of just actually cheating the whole time. He didn't have
people help him. They just showed up to beat up Randy Orton because they got a match with them. But in order to get the
W, he needed those guys to come in, and they're making him look
Jinder still
too weak.
has the belt, which is dope because he hit Randy with it like twice, but once was like on the shoulder and looked awful. It was all around the House of Horrors debacle was disappointing, I'll say, but let's be thankful it's over. We can move on. Bray's on Raw. Randy's on SmackDown. The Randy Jinder stuff, I'm actually digging. I might be one of the only people out there, but I'm actually digging the Randy Jinder stuff. If Bray feuds with Finn while we wait for Brock Lesnar to come back, which is they announced his first title defense is going to be July for a brand new pay-per-view called Great Balls of Fire. And I am not making any of that up. Seriously.
Great Balls of Fire.
Yup. Like the song, you know? Great Balls of Fire. Right? Nope. All right. So let's get to the main event of the evening. Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Roman comes out all bandaged up, looking pathetic. Crowd hating him.
Oh, God. This crowd was so mean to him.
Crowd was savage. We'll get to that, though. Hold on. Braun beats him up for the majority of the match. Roman gets very little offense in.
But he always is like this, though.
Yeah.
He's always very little offense.
Yeah.
He gets the shit kicked out of him, then throws 1 or 2 Superman punches and a spear and wins.
It did look like he was going to win, though. After that spear, I was a little nervous. After the 2 Superman punches, I was really nervous.
And then everyone starts booing.
Then Braun hits that kick, and everyone's like, whew. And then Braun gets the win. So Braun gets the W after 2 running power slams, which I wish he did. He should do the Kevin Nash jackknife powerbomb. That should be his finisher.
Why?
Because it's a badass move and he's big. Like, he could do it on almost anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but he's still, from what I understand,
he's still raw. But I mean, that running power slam is a weak ass move. But whatever. All right,
it's a weak ass move. But he wants him to do it.
The running power slam's a weak ass move. That's why I want him to do the jackknife powerbomb.
Well,
whatever.
And he'll evolve there. Jeez,
okay.
Louise.
So after the match, Braun grabs the stairs, drops Roman. So he had the stairs standing. You know how stairs are wide? He had them standing length, so it was taller. You know what I'm saying? So not laying down flat, but like standing
getting wild.
There. It was fucking Dukers laying on the cord. Fucking Dukers. So he had it standing up this way, not laying this way. You know what I'm saying? This way, not this way. I think you got it. So he drops him on it. He split his lip because then all of a sudden he's like spitting up blood. And then he picked him up and slammed it like right on his chest. So obviously he's got internal bleeding and he's dying at this point. Like, he's pretty much completely dying. So then they get him into the back on his own power after like he walks up by the...
I just remembered this part, dude.
What?
And this is like while the crowd's just being savage, like chanting like, you deserve it.
Yeah.
And he's like
bleeding.
pouring blood.
Yeah.
Like he's just spitting up a shit.
I think he just cut his lip or something.
It looked bad as shit, though.
I don't think he was actually bleeding internally, but it was hilarious because they were chanting like, "You deserve it, thank you, Strowman." This is when they really got savage.
So
like they got
mean.
real savage. Yeah. So then we went into talking Raw talk. I'm so used to talking Smack, which is a much better show, by the way. Which starts with pretty much him coming in the back, like right behind the curtain, and he goes up and he's like on the wall, like leaning there,
like this nice white tile wall,
and he just spits this ginormous
blood
goop of blood. It was amazing. So then they get him by the ambulance, and now this is on the Raw after talk or whatever. Braun goes, "What do you hear Braun say? I'm not done with you, and like runs through an ambulance door. So like the ambulance doors are open in the back.
No,
right?
I'm not finished with you.
I'm not finished with you. That's what it was. And then runs through the fucking door. And then into like a bunch of boxes, and then gets up.
It looks like he broke his fucking arm.
Yeah, and then Roman gets up, and then Roman's beating him with the door to the ambulance, and then Strowman like scurries off. Mm-hmm. And then
because he broke his fucking arm, smashing through that ambulance.
And then they just go to the actual Raw talk,
and they're like, "Oh my gosh, can you believe that?" Like, I'm stunned.
Fucking madness. Good pay per view. B plus.
Holy
B plus shit. B plus shit. Man. What are you gonna give it?
At least B plus. I would say so. Okay. Because I kind of as much as I think it wasn't horrible as far as the House of Horrors match, it definitely wasn't like match of the night.
No, I know.
By any means, it was.
That. What was your match of the night?
God, I'm gonna give it to Rollins Samoa.
Because you actually stayed awake for the whole thing,
and it was a pretty good match.
With
the somewhat looking
finish,
not so great,
not shenanigan-y, but off the off finish.
And
but
it
whatever.
could totally be the actual finish, and that's the point. But it just seemed not like it was purposeful.
All right, well, no episode this week. We're tired and it's late, and whatever, fuck it. But episode 82 next week now. No, 83. Episode 82 is the last one. Whatever. Basement Boy Banner, YouTube. We're on SoundCloud now. Check us out on SoundCloud. Like, share,
when
subscribe.
This idiot can get it edited so it's not just a rough cut.
No, I'm just going to throw the rough cut. I'm just going to keep throwing the rough cut. I don't even care. But whatever. Like, share, subscribe. Thor, Brian. Next video, episode 83. Some other shit coming soon. Guardians this week. Groots. Until then. Deuces.